Good morning, Diana and Rebecca. This is Dewan Brown with Bloomberg BNA. Diana, it was great to meet you. Rebecca, I hope to meet you at some point as well. That would be phenomenal. I want to go through, hopefully high level, some of the areas of the platform for HR that I was able to show to Diana. And I'll start with basically the HR library here. We have three columns. Basically, this column is going to be sort of the productivity tools, those things that you would use on I think, a more regular basis, to be honest, especially with our chart builders, which you'll see through our state gateway. The middle is going to be the meat. So if you consider this sort of like a sandwich, then have two buns and then the meat there. In the middle is going to be the HR topic navigator. And then we have all of our news, updates, content from our editors, and other things, the BNA insights, the video insights that I'll be able to show you here shortly as well, which are pretty great to have on the platform. So we'll start with the left column. Starting really with, I think, what would be very powerful for you all, being that you're in so many states, the state gateway. We could access the state gateway directly through this icon, or the state gateway content is also broken out right here for you to grab into. First of all, we do have a state search, so you could literally go right here and do a state search. Here you'd be able to select your own states. For you all, I know that you're in at least Utah, Colorado, Georgia, Virginia, Florida, North Carolina. So I'll choose those to begin with. I don't believe Illinois or Indiana. I may be wrong there. But I'll choose these states to begin with. And you'll see that your states then come up here. What that does for you is it enables you to go right to this page if you wanted to. And then you could search just in Colorado, for example, or you could search just in Georgia, or you could go here and you could say, I'm looking for information on termination across all my states. So that way you're narrowing down searches and things like that to the states you're actually concerned with and not necessarily needing to build 50 state charts. And so that can give you a shortcut as well. And this can become your home page if you wish as well. What you're digging into in terms of the states themselves, let's say we go into Colorado alone, you're going to have all of this information for every state. So there's the Colorado compliance alert, Colorado forms, posters, law summaries, Colorado laws, state quick reference charts, and then even the HR policy handbook state requirements. Anywhere in the platform, you can do an open one level. And that'll take you one level behind those pluses, and you can quickly see some of the compliance alerts that have come up for Colorado. Here are the forms for Colorado. Here are the posters for Colorado that are mandatory, and all of the law summaries around benefits, comp, EEO, etc., and all of the laws as well. And we put all of the laws there because we're going to reference them sometimes. And when we reference them, we want you to be able to actually get into the laws themselves. And so that's sort of the state gateway, or at least the state search, and how that's set up. That state compliance alert, which we showed you within the state search, is there. The HR policy handbook state requirements are there. What I want to do first is jump right into our chart builder. This is very, very much a huge time saver for all of my clients. The chart builder allows you to say, and this is the state chart builder, so you can go in and you could select any of these categories that you wanted. We'll go ahead and select leave, just for the purposes of this example, and then we'll say, we're really interested in paid sick leave. Again, as an example, but if you look there, you have maternity, family, and medical, of course, FMLA, crime victim leave, court, jury, duty leave, school activities leave, voting and elections, etc., pregnancy, disability. We're going to look at paid sick leave really quickly. We'll look at a few, again, the same few of your states that I know you're in. I think you guys are just starting to write work in Delaware. I'm not sure if you have a physical place there or employees there. I would imagine so. So Florida, Georgia, we know Utah and Virginia is what I'll do here. And then we choose the topics. I always select overview. I think that's most helpful to do. And then I would say reasons for leave, leave amount. You can see other things, notification requirements, pay and benefits, mandatory posters, any record keeping requirements, administration enforcement. I like to put reference citations and web references there as well. You can create the chart with topic headings across the top or jurisdictions across the top, but either way, it usually takes just a few seconds and you have yourself a chart of the states and the information that you requested right here. And it's pretty quick and easy. Usually takes 3 seconds or less. If you're looking here, you'll see really quickly in terms of paid sick leave, a lot of no provision. I think that's important because what I said to Diana is that some of my clients told me that they spent hours researching, trying to find a provision for a specific area, for a specific state, only to find out later that that provision does not exist. And so we call out to you whether there's no provision or not, which is very, very helpful. We also, even though on the chart you see quickly to tell you kind of yes, no, what you need, very basic overview. There is the more button here, and you can actually get to analysis that will give you more detail into the paid sick leave laws within these various states. Here you can export to Excel. If you want to save it, you may not need this anymore, or this, or this, or this. And you'll be able to see also web references there. You can also add to folders, and anything that you add to folders in this platform is going to anything that you add to folders in this platform is going to be dynamic. And by dynamic, what I mean is that you'll be able to go in 3 months later, a year later, you pull that same piece of information, that same chart out of the folder, and if there's law changes that are applicable, it's going to be reflected in that document. We'll look at one more thing here, namely termination, and we'll say, okay, what are the final wage payment rules for, again, some of the same states: Colorado, Delaware, Georgia, North Carolina, Virginia, and Utah is what I'll do this time. And here again, overview, we'll say what happens to deceased employees, voluntary termination, vacation and bonus pay on termination, deductions from final wages, and again, reference citations and web references. And I'll create that chart. And you'll see, again, Colorado, here's their information, Delaware, and you can see they vary greatly from state to state in some of these areas specifically. And as we can see here, bonus and vacation pay. So basically, in 2 seconds, you can compare and get information and insight into up to 50 states. The type of research that you would normally have to go to each state's website, et cetera, et cetera. So that's very, very powerful, and it covers all the ground that you would expect it to cover in the HR realm. So that's phenomenal. And then we also have what we call the report builder. We have some state quick reference charts as well. I'll show you those really quickly. We have benefits charts, compensation charts, EEO, hiring, leave, payroll, safety, health, and security, termination, work rules, and employee conduct. These are great as well because you can go right in and you can say, overtime pay, maximum weekly or daily hours used to calculate. You can click on that chart. And it'll go right into a prefab chart for you so that you can get that information really quickly for each state. And these types of things, again, our goal really is to save you time, get work off your desk, and allow you to do other things that'll be of value to Atlantic Bay as opposed to doing hours and hours of research, especially across states as you grow and enter into new states and as things change in the states you currently are in. So that would be some of the state gateway information. There's a state report builder as well. So when I open up the trial, I really would encourage you to play around there. We also have the HR policy handbook, great tool with the state requirements for these areas. This is phenomenal as well. The state gateway includes these HR policy handbook state requirements. So if you're updating your handbook or you are creating a new handbook, and these are areas that you have information in or subjects or topics covered within your handbook, then you're going to want to make sure that for per state, whether it's Colorado or whether it's Utah or Virginia, then these things line up. So if we talk about records management policy as an example, and so we'll go into records management policy. Once we get into records management policy, we can go to either state that we want or any states that we want and find out exactly what the state requirements are. So here is policy handbook, model policy on records management, personnel files, job references, etc. They have state requirements that differ from state to state. So as you're building your records management requirement handbook piece, you want to make sure that you can go right through here and see for the states that concern you what is required to be there, if anything at all. And as we can see in Delaware, there's a huge write-up. In Florida, it's smaller. Georgia, Illinois is pretty in depth as well. But this way, it keeps you from having to spend $450 per hour for your lawyer just to say these are the areas that you want to be clear on for Virginia, Colorado, etc. We have that information for you. It is legally and technically correct because it's been vetted by labor and employment staff, as well as in a lot of cases some third parties that we use to do that. And so you're ready to go with that information. The HR policy handbook itself gives both policy pointers as well as model policies. We have all the federal forms, notices, and posters on the site. We also have all of the state forms, notices, and posters on the site. In the center here, you see the HR Topic Navigator. This is really simple to use. If you know exactly what you're looking for, you can either search here globally as you would in Google, or you can go by alphabet or by topic. If we were to go by alphabet and say we were looking for something on leave, as an example, we'd go to L and we'd go down to leave. And as we open up leave, you'll find that we have broader topics around leave, narrower topics, so we can go specifically to what you're looking for. And maybe it's just that you're looking for paid time off or leave banks. So in every case, when you get into the content itself, you're going to find analysis, FAQs, model documents, and then state requirements should there be something specific for states. The analysis is going to be really, really easy to understand with kind of chock full of practical examples as well. And so we talk about how these chapters are written in plain business English, yet where there needs to be, we're going to directly link you to any primary or secondary sources. So you can see direct links, hyperlinks spread throughout this content as well. Here you can do a split screen if you want to. And in that split screen, you can go ahead and separate your contents from your material. That way you can continue to look through and see what neighboring content you might want to go into, but you don't necessarily lose your place here. And so that enables you to keep from going back and forth. Again, our goal is to save you as much time as possible. And so the HR library centerpiece will be this HR Topic Navigator. If you're going into training and workforce development, you'll see general training, management training. You can open that up, career development, coaching, and mentoring. And again, that same format, analysis, FAQs, model documents, and the like, and then if necessary, state requirements in that area of content. To the right, we have our news and updates. And the news that you'll want to look at is the bulletin to management. So if you open up the bulletin to management, then you're going to find out that the recent topics here are actually your customized topics that you said you care about. And the hot topics come from our editorial staff. So you could literally go in and customize your topics and say, really, these are the things I most care about. And if we started to select those things and save them, then what would happen is two things really. So here you could also do your email sign up, and it'll mirror this so that when you get your email, then those topics that you care about will be front and center in that email. But it'll also place your cared about topics right here under the customized marker so that you'd have all of your categories here. Now in the center, you're going to have your headlines, things that have just popped up over the last week or so, and there are some key features here as well. But let's go into one of these. So federal employment legislation, you'll get a reverse chronological of all of the articles that we've done, all of the reports that we're doing and following in that area. And then if you go into one of those stories, as an example, you'll see that we can continue the trend of hyperlinking directly to primary and secondary sources. And so that's good news, because that way if we're referencing a case or we're referencing a code or a law, you don't have to go far to actually see that for yourself, read it for yourself, understand it for yourself. And so this is the HR library. The Decision Support Network will go another level and provide for you things like webinars live, which are accredited, custom research, request salary reports, strategic white papers, and a number of surveys and reports right on the platform in addition to an HR strategic plan builder.